What's up, everybody? This is an update on the C10. I have not been doing much videoing. Feels like a sin, but regardless, I'm gonna start in the engine bay with what I've got done in the last few weeks. So right off the bat, I got the coils raised up off the valve covers, just two little brackets, just like that. Front and rear, both sides. Plug wires, spark plugs, boots are all on. The Holley Terminator X system has been completely wired. Everything's plugged in. I've got Blake's old map sensor in for now that he used for startup. There's the same thing on this side with the coils. Fuel pressure regulator's all plumbed. It goes basically 10 AN runs all the way up and splits into a Y fitting right down there, and then goes 2 8s all the way up to the back of the rails, and one side of the regulator goes directly into an inlet there, and then the other inlet comes from this side, runs underneath the front and goes right into the regulator here, and the return line is right here, and it's on a little swivel deal. I was gonna run it underneath the intake in the front, but there wasn't enough space. So I ended up just running it straight down, and it basically just runs right along with the fuel system the rest of the way back. Got the boost reference hose on. Moving on to the exhaust system, I've got 2.5 inch V-band to a 3 inch pipe. Blake gave me all this 3 inch pipe, so I wouldn't use my 2.5 that's like tiny, but yeah, put a little tip on there. It looks really good with the fender on. It like sticks out just a little, like a mini bullhorn. Pretty sweet. O2 sensors there. All the wires for it are kind of hidden up under there. I got the balancer back on. I can't really think of anything else I've done under the hood. That's most of it. Oh, I got my CalTrack shocks on, 9010s, and put the brake calipers back on. Did that messing around the other day. Got the starter all wired up. It's pretty cool. Moving on to the inside of the truck. It's obviously a complete mess in here. I need to clean it out actually, but I got the chassis all wired up. My ground goes through here to this block, and then the ground just runs right up to here. This is the Holley stuff. Ground positive are the small ones. This power wire jumps down. Actually, this power wire runs directly to the starter. This one runs down to this little jump block, and that goes straight to this main power tower. This red wire is actually a ground, and it runs all the way around right to the main ground tower. So as you can see, I've got the battery hooked up, the Holley's hooked up. I have powered the truck up. So there's my dual relay setup, MagnaFuel relays. It basically runs the fuel pump. Two of these wires go into one, and it's actually this one big red wire here. It's a big power wire from like eBay for a small amp. So it's actually a little bit smaller than it looks. The wire is. It's got plenty of insulation on the outside of it, which is why I chose it to go all the way to the back. But the other blue wire that runs with it is for the transmission cooler fan. Trans cooler's right there. The only dumb thing I've done so far is I ran this dipstick for the transmission inside the cab, simply because I don't feel like waiting to get another one. I'm ready to fire this thing up. But I'll obviously do away with that in the near future. That's pretty much it for the wiring on this side. The Holley's all tucked up in there. Everything's all ran nicely. The computer's mounted right there where I can easily see the lights for diagnostic lights or whatever. Moving on to this side, I've got the new Motion Raceworks steering wheel installed. I've got my tack in and my headlight switch, and I've actually got my screen. It's just kind of dangling right now, but the screen goes right there for the Holley. So it's kind of my little control board. tach, and then I'll have the vitals on here. I've also got a transmission temperature gauge that I'm gonna hook up in here somewhere. Probably put it over here somewhere or something, but this will be my bump button, and then I'm gonna have the trans brake on the shifter, which I do not have installed yet. Fuel system back here is completely done. The return line's all hooked up. There's the fuel pump wire. Same thing back here. It 2/8 into a 10. The 10 runs around to the pre-filter. Then you got the pump post filter. It's a MagnaFuel 4303 pump, the 750. And that's the ground wire for the pump, and then the positive wire. So all that stuff's all hooked up and good to go. This is my new metal fuel cap deal, because I broke the little plastic one and they're just junk. So pretty happy with that, but yeah, so truck's been painted. I got fender there, needs another coat, but it's been painted and it looks really good when it's all together. It's an absolute mess right now, but I just wanted to get some kind of video update done. We've also got this thing that Blake's been slaving away on. He's got his new regulator on for fuel, and he's trying to figure out a fuel cut problem he's got right now. But we felt 6 pounds of boost today with no windshield. It was pretty sweet, but this truck's pretty close to being ready to go too. So yeah, everything's pretty much, I'd say, coming together for the most part. I'm just happy I don't have any fuel leaks, and I'm pretty much ready to start pre-oiling and fill the trans up. Blake flashed me a startup tune onto my SD card, and it's been installed, so it's getting pretty close to first fire up, and I'm getting really excited. So I'm gonna keep working on it, and maybe we'll get a start out of it pretty soon. Battery's dead. Take two. Cut.
All right, for the 33rd attempt of the first start. Widescreen. Good or no?
I don't know what the idle's gonna do. You wanna crack it?
Go ahead. That was something falling, you're good.
Okay.
I know that was a scary noise. I know it helps. That never helps the nerves when it's just driving up more. See what it is, yeah.
All right, so the truck cranked up and I had to go through a bunch of different configurations with the cam and crank sensor basically for no reason. Found out, confirmed that the bottom end is 24X, and I had swapped the wires on the cam sensor, and I ended up putting everything back to when I started, before I started changing sensors and stuff. We're kind of believing that it just needed to get more fuel into the engine because it fired up in like what I want to call like stock form, the way I had it to begin with the very first time. But when I was turning it over, it just was like nothing. But I had some lights on the Holly that just did some weird stuff. I don't exactly know what happened, but now it's working. So all my lights on the Holly are good, the little indicator lights or whatever. So I actually had 2 dead cylinders, one on each side of the engine, number 7 and number 6. I swapped coils from side to side, swapped plugs, swapped plug wires, and come to find out that I had fire on all the cylinders. Everything's good. The coil, the plug wire, and the plugs are good. And we don't have fuel on those cylinders, number 6 and number 7. So the next thing we're gonna do is change out those 2 injectors and see what that does. Regardless, it fired up, oil pressure was good, the truck sounded good, no leaks. What else? Oh yeah. So I was comparing stuff on my truck and his truck, and I just was walking back and forth, looking at the wiring, trying to see if I had something out of place that he didn't because his truck runs. And I discovered that his injector harness was swapped side to side. So just something easy that got looked over. And we pretty much are assuming that that was his entire boost fuel cut breakup issue that he's been having, obviously. Really surprised it even ran as good as it did. It's actually like pretty crazy, but now he's got the good regulator set up and he should be good to catch boost in this thing, hopefully tomorrow. Everything's good. I got to put the T4 gaskets in here. They've been sitting right there, but I just wanted to hear it bust off, and it did. So I'm actually going to try to crank it up with my little battery. Been using Blake's battery, but I got my little battery in here now, and I've got everything hooked up. So I know it's running on 6 cylinders, but I'm going to turn the key over for you guys, show you how good it starts. So coming in here, I've got the Holly screen right there. I've got my tachometer. Yeah, everything works off the key. Blake thought that was pretty cool. There's no switches in this truck. Just go key on. I've got the fuel pump on a cycle, which I don't 100% know if that's right or not, actually. But see, everything's good over there. It cranks up on this battery. That's pretty cool. Blake's getting in 15 shot. They 15s, but you keep them clean.
That's right. They're 20s though.
He's about to get some 17s for the front. If this thing makes boost tomorrow.
Yeah. Full pull and it'll get 17s.
So be on the lookout for that. This is the C10 first start video, and I am editing a video very soon for Blake's truck. It's going to include tomorrow's shenanigans. So I'll let you guys know how all that goes in the next video.
Rain or shine, we're making a full swing pull on the road.
We'll be out there tomorrow.
Might be in search for S10 from it.
Might put it in the ditch, but we're going to go for it.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.
Shout out to Brian.
Yeah, thanks, Brian, hopefully.